Hello everybody, welcome back to my studio. So today I'm going to talk about two things you can do that will improve your motivation moving ahead as musicians. Alright, so first of all, I'd like to send a shout out to John Carpenter, who wanted me to do this video, gave a suggestion for this video, so hopefully, John, this is good. Alright, so the first thing I do is I set goals. So if you look at it, you have your specific goals right here. And then at the very top, you have your dream, right? So let me give you an example. At the top, I want to be a concert pianist. And let me give you an example of what those goals would be in approaching that dream. So maybe the first would be for the first couple of years, and you want to put this on a timeline. So maybe in the first couple of years, I would think, hey, I want to have a certain amount of repertoire done at this point. So maybe for 3 years, I'll have a lot of repertoire done and specific repertoire by this point. Maybe the next goal would be, hey, I want to do an hour-and-a-half piano recital. So that would be the next goal. And as you can see, each one of these goals with a specific timeline reaches your ultimate dream. And you don't have to be so stringent on it. I mean, it could change too. Sometimes your timeline will change and you might have to vary it and so forth. So going ahead, look to what your dream is. And it doesn't have to be like, hey, a concert pianist or a concert soloist. It could be as simple as, hey, I just want to learn this piano piece or this specific piece of repertoire. So that, obviously, your goals would change, but set goals and a timeline, and that's going to give you that extra motivation to work towards that. All right, and the next thing you can do is you got to put in the practice time. And I know this gets a lot more difficult as the years go on to putting in that practice time because you have other responsibilities to do. But what I do is I usually set, like say for 5 days, I'll say, hey, for these 5 days, I'll say, hey, I'm going to practice for 3 hours every day. And it sounds easy, but if you do it every single day, it does get more difficult. And what I do in addition to that is I have my phone. I'll sit there with my phone and actually start timing out the 3 hours are at. When the 3 hours ends, no more, no less, I stop practicing. And I put that in every single day. On top of that as well, I also have somebody that I look towards that would actually keep me accountable for that. So find somebody, I would say like a close friend or somebody like that that is interested in what you're doing, moving towards your goals, and have that friend hold you accountable. I know when I come home and I'm like, hey, I got 4 hours I need to put in, I only have put in 2 hours that day, and my wife is there and she's like, well, did you do your extra 2 hours? I'm like, no. So she's like, well, you got to get those extra 2 hours in. And she holds me accountable. And eventually what will happen is that after you do this for a while, you won't need somebody holding you accountable. You'll actually get that motivation. You'll feel positive. You're like, hey, I'm actually putting in practice time. I'm feeling really good about it. So again, set those times, put in the time that you need, have somebody hold you accountable. That's going to give you that extra motivation as well. All right, so just to recap, 2 things that you can do that is going to give you that extra motivation. First thing is set yourself some goals. Work towards your dreams, and you have to have those goals because if you don't do that, it's going to look overwhelming. Then secondly, put in that practice time. In addition to that, have somebody hold you accountable. Make sure you're putting in those practice hours. Those 2 things, if you do that, are going to increase your motivation moving ahead as musicians. Thank you again all for joining me at my studio. So if there's a video you would like to see, leave it in the comments below and I'll take a look at it. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.